Welcome, students. Today we are going to learn and understand the chapter 1 of course book. The name of the chapter is CHUSKIT Goes to School. This chapter is about helping others. In this chapter, we will read about heartwarming story of a girl who cannot walk and how she was helped by the students of the school, and in the end she was able to go to school. I will read the paragraph and you have to listen to me carefully. And then you have to repeat after me. Reading. Introduction. Chuskit is a little girl who cannot go to school because she is unable to walk. Let's find out if her dream of going to school and receiving education comes true. Chuskit woke up early that morning. It was a very special day and she was too excited to sleep till late. She eagerly looked out of the window next to her bed. It was springtime in Ladakh and the apricot trees were in full bloom. Amale was awake too. Chuskut could hear Amale in the kitchen making gurgutri. This was a day Chuskit was going to remember for a very long time. Can you guess why? No, it was not Losser. That was many months away. Nor was it any other special day in a village like Gonpa festival or wedding day. Before we begin with the explanation, I would like you to know and be familiar with the new words and their meaning. Eagerly. What is the meaning of eagerly? Eagerly means showing a lot of interest. Amale, mother in Ladakhi language. Amale means mother in Ladakhi language. Gurgotri, butter tea that is made in a long cylindrical wooden vessel. It's a tea which is very famous in Ladakh and it is made with butter and it is made inside cylindrical wooden vessel. Losar. Losar is a festival celebrating the Ladakhi or Tibetan New Year. Losar is a festival or a Tibetan New Year festivity. Gonpa. Gonpa is Buddhist monastery. Monastery, it's a temple of Buddhist temple where people come and pray. Kyuskit was a little girl who could not go to school because she was unable to walk. She woke up one morning and it was a very special day for her. She looked out of the window showing a lot of interest. It was spring season and apricot tree, which is a kind of a fruit, apricot is a kind of a fruit, the tree was in full bloom. Her mother was making gurguti in the kitchen. She was going to remember the day for a very long time. Can you think of the reason behind the happiness of Chuskit? No, it was not New Year. It wasn't Buddhist festival and it was not wedding also. Today was going to be Chuskit's first day at school. At 9 years, she had waited a long time for this. The school was not very far away from her home. To get there, you had to walk up to the main road just before the prayer wheel. You took the path to the left of the road that ran along a narrow stream near the poplar tree. You crossed the stream by jumping over the big rocks. Once you got to the other side, a short walk up a slope took you to the school. All the children of Skiptoyu Chuskit's village walked to school every day, but not little Chuskit. She could not walk. Chuskit was going to school for the first time. She has waited 9 years for this moment. Her school was near her home. To reach school, you had to walk up to the main road along a narrow stream. You have to cross the stream near Poplar Tree. Then a small slope will reach you to the school. All the children of Skiptoyul was Chuskit's village, walk to school every day. But she could not go to school as she was not able to walk. In the word meaning, you can see prayer wheel. The image of the prayer wheel is can be seen in the slide. And what do you mean by prayer wheel? A prayer wheel is made of hollow metal cylinder and fixed on a handle. On the outside of the cylinder are prayers in Sanskrit. Buddhist devotees spin these wheels. Chuskit was born with legs that did not work like everyone else's. Her father had taken her to the village Amchi and then to the doctors in Leh. But no amount of medicine had helped her walk. At first, Chuskit did not realize that she was in any way different from Stockton, her younger brother, or her cousins. But soon there were many things she could not do as easily as they could. That does not matter. Her Abale would tell her, you can stitch better than any of them, and you draw very well. Abale often brought her some color pencils from Leh. Juskit was not able to walk like anyone else. Her father took her to the doctors, but even after taking different types of medicine, she was not able to walk properly. Earlier, she could not find the difference, but slowly she realized that there are things which she is not able to do properly, but her brother and cousins could do them very easily. Her father motivated her by saying that you can stitch and draw better than any of them. He also brought her some color pencils for her from Leh. Some new words used in this paragraph are Amchi and Abale. Amchi means local doctor practicing Tibetan system of medicine. Abale means father in Ladakhi language. Chuskit used a chair fitted with wheels to move around. Elders called it a wheelchair. When Abale first brought the wheelchair home, everyone in the family was very excited. Now I won't have to carry Chuskit everywhere. I can wheel her around, said Amale, with tears of happiness in her eyes. And I will be able to go wherever I want, cried Chuskit excitedly. Slowly, Chuskit learned to use a wheelchair. She would ask her mother to seat her in the wheelchair outside her home every evening. One evening, when Chuskit was sitting outside the house with her grandfather, a young boy came up to her. He carried a letter which he handed over to her grandfather. Jule, said the bus driver, asked me to give this to you, he said. Chuskit used a chair fitted with wheels to move around. Everyone in the family was very happy as they don't have to carry her everywhere now. She can move on her own. Slowly she learned to use wheelchair. She liked sitting outside her home every evening. One day she was sitting outside her home along with her grandfather. A young boy came to them and handed them a letter. In this paragraph, the new word which is used is Jule. Jule means a greeting in Ladakhi language. The meaning of the word is hello or goodbye. My name is Abdul, he said, turning to Chuske. I study in class 6 at the government school. I have often wondered why you don't come to school. Jule, Abdul, said Chuske. I have never been to school. The path to the school is too uneven and pebbly, and my wheelchair will get stuck. It would be very difficult for my parents to carry me to school and back every day. But would you like to come to school? Asked Abdul. Of course, replied Juskin. I hear my younger brother talk of all the things he does at school. I want to study like everyone else, make friends, play games, wear a uniform, and even write exams. You may not believe this, but I sometimes dream of carrying a school bag, even eating packed lunch. The young boy said his name is Abdul. He studies in class 6 at the government school. He asked Chuskit why she doesn't go to school. She replied that the road to school is rough and pebbly, and her wheelchair will get stuck. The word pebbly means full of stones. The picture of the word pebbly you can see on the right side of the slide. But she wanted to go to school like other children, make friends, play games, wear a uniform, and also to write exams, and also to carry school bags and to have lunch. Enough, enough, interrupted her grandfather. Stop dreaming, Chuskit. You know you cannot go to school. Mamale, please, pleaded Chuskit softly, with tears in her eyes, as her grandfather walked away angrily. Mamale does not understand how I feel, said Chuskit. I too want to learn to read and do maths. Do you understand? I do, said Abdul. Chuskit, I will see you later. I must go now. Jule. The next day, Abdul went straight to the headmaster's room after assembly. Jule Azangle, he said, I want to talk to you about a girl from our village who does not go to school. She is stopped and Sister Chuske. Oh, yes, replied the headmaster. I know her. She is unable to walk, isn't it? Grandfather scolded Chuskit and asked her to stop daydreaming and said that you know you cannot go to school. After listening to this, she started crying. There were tears in Chuskit's eyes. She said no one understands her and that she also wants to go to school, do maths, and learn to read and write. Next day, Abdul met headmaster and discussed about Chuskit with him and ways and means how she can join the school. The new word in this chapter are Mamale and Azangle. Mamale means grandfather in Ladakhi language, and Azangle is a word used with respect for the elderly people. Yes, Azangle, she uses a wheelchair to move around but cannot reach school as the path from her home is too rough and uneven. I was wondering if we could all get together and level the path and build a small bridge across the stream. That's very thoughtful of you, Abdul, said the headmaster as he patted him on the back. What made you think of Chuskit and her problems? Azangle, last week we read about the fundamental rights of citizens in our civics class. All children have a right to education. That includes Chuskit as well, doesn't it? Yes, you are right, Abdul. Let me discuss this with other teachers. Impossible, said one of them. How will Chuskit be able to write, play, and go to the toilet like other children do? That's exactly what we must work out, said the headmaster. I hear that in the village of Mentokule, the village education committee has helped build a special toilet for one of their children who cannot walk. We could ask them what they have done. But first, we must get Chuskit to school. Then we could think of the ways of helping her do things in school. Abdul said Chuskit uses wheelchair and she cannot reach school as the road to school is rough. We can help her by leveling the roads and by building a small bridge over the stream. As we have read in our civics class that all the children have a right to education. Headmaster was happy that Abdul was thoughtful and concerned about Chuskit. Next day, Headmaster discussed it with other teachers. One of the teachers said it will be difficult for her to write, play, and go to the toilet like other children. Headmaster told we will find a way to solve the problems. There is a child in another village who cannot walk, and the villagers have built a special toilet for him. We can help her in the same way, but later. First thing we have to do is to bring Chuskit to school. 2 weeks later, there was great excitement at the government school. All the children gathered outside in the playground. They came to school without their school bags. There weren't going to be any classes that day. The teachers divided the children into groups. One group worked in front of Chuskit's house and another on the path along the stream. A third group with older children worked hard to help some of their teachers build a strong wooden bridge across the stream. Chuskit's parents provided everyone with hot tea and biscuits. Chuskit's grandfather sat under a willow tree by the stream watching the busy children. I never dreamed I would see a day like this, he thought to himself as he wiped a tear. At the end of the day, it was a tired but happy group of children that returned to their homes. The path from Chuskit's home to school was now ready. Chuskit was going to school for the first time in her life, and that's why she was so excited. 2 weeks later, all the children gathered in the playground. They came without school bags as there were no classes that day. Teachers divided the children into groups. One group walked in front of Chuskit's home and another near the stream. Third group, which had senior children, built a wooden bridge across the stream with the help of teachers. All of them were served with tea and biscuits. At the end of the day, the path from Chuskit's home to the school was ready, and all the children were happy, though they were very much tired. Chuskit was ready to go to school for the first time, and she was very happy about it.
Chuskit goes to school. Chuskit woke up early that morning. Today was going to be Chuskit's first day at school. The school was not very far away from her home. Chuskit was born with legs that did not work like everyone else's. Chuskit used a chair fitted with wheels to move around. Elders called it a wheelchair. Slowly, Chuskit learned to use her wheelchair. One evening, when Chuskit was sitting outside the house with her grandfather, a young boy came up to her. "My name is Abdul," he said, turning to Chuskit. "I study in class 6 at the government school. I have often wondered why you don't come to school. The path to the school is too uneven and pebbly, and my wheelchair will get stuck. It would be very difficult for my parents to carry me to school and back every day." "But would you like to come to school?" asked Abdul. "Of course," replied Chuskit. The next day, Abdul went straight to the headmaster's room after assembly. He said, "I want to talk to you about a girl from our village who does not go to school." "Oh yes," replied the headmaster. "I know her. She is unable to walk, isn't it? Build a small bridge across the stream." The next day, the headmaster shared Abdul's ideas with all the teachers and asked them what they felt. 2 weeks later, a group worked hard to help some of their teachers build a strong wooden bridge across the stream. The path from Chuskit's home to the school was now ready.